It truly is amazing how much green surrounds us in the summertime. I wish I could say the same for green in my dye pot. Hi, this is Margaret Byrd and welcome to Color Quest. Today I'm going to be taking you through a relatively painful journey for me on the quest to find green from a common plant, at least in this forest, and that is the nettle. And as I take you through the months of trial and tribulations that I went through, it got me to thinking about how wouldn't it be great to have a really quick list of some top things to remember when you're using natural dye. So I put together a Natural Dyer's Quick Start Guide, and it is linked here below, and it will give you 11 tips that I have to refer to on the regular to try to have a bit more success with natural color. So hit that link below and grab yourself that guide in case you'd like to have something in your pocket for times when things aren't going quite as planned. So join me now on my quest for green in nettles, but more importantly, on a journey of how to truly embrace the magic that is natural color. Did I get green? Watch and see. I am taking a quick last walk through the woods near my home in the Pacific Northwest because I'm actually getting ready to travel. I'm going to be going to the central coast of California, but the reason why I'm running out to the woods to take you with me is that yesterday I went out to forage for some birch bark, and as soon as I reached down to grab the birch bark off the ground, I got stung by a stinging nettle. And I have been wanting to forage for nettles since last spring. And I thought I was going to miss the season because I'm going to be leaving this area for a few months. I'm going to run out really fast right now, take a quick and careful snip of a few nettle leaves and bring them back to freeze so that when I'm back in the Pacific Northwest, I can make some nettle dye, which is a color I've been looking to do for a while now. And it's a beautiful green or gray color. So let's go cut some nettles. I have this awesome assistant with me, my son, who's going to film since I have to wear gloves in order to harvest nettle. So here is the birch bark that I was harvesting, and you can see right next to the birch bark is nettle. So that's nettle, and then this is nettle. But man, it is just everywhere here. So I'm gonna harvest a little bag filled and take it back to my dye pot. Oop, I just got stung. Okay, and for that you will be cut. Gotta be super careful. Trying to do this one-handed is a little dangerous. I need the other glove. It's danger zone. Okay, so this is going to be attempt 6 or 7. I think over now it's been approximately 3 months worth of buildup and excitement towards getting green from nettles, which I have yet to do. So I am not giving up though. I'm going to try one more time, and there are a couple of things that I did. I did a little more research, and some of the people that I've learned from have been collecting early in the spring, which I did in the beginning. But also I have seen some mention of choosing the very young nettles. So although it's already June here and I found nettles again, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to that patch, and instead of cutting from the top of the nettle plant, I'm gonna go ahead and cut some smaller pieces that are just sprouting up. Here is one of the nettles that I took from. You can see my cut. I don't want to get too close because, man, they sting. And now below it, however, are some baby ones. There are quite a few in this area, so I'm going to walk around and make sure I'm not taking from one particular spot. In good foraging practice, that I'm taking a small amount from various locations so that I'm having the least amount of impact on the natural growth of the plant within its own environment. I also found a few other forest treasures while I was out and about. Slowing down and really just looking around in a meaningful way is such a different experience in the forest. So I strongly recommend that. And when you're foraging, it's a great skill to have. So while I was looking for nettle amongst all this growth, I came across some digitalis or foxglove that's wild here. Those flowers make a dye, supposedly green. We'll see. And also some red elderberry. Ooh, guess what I just saw next to the nettle as I was beginning to cut is a piece of lichen. I'm gonna have a video in the future about lichen, how to forage for lichen ethically and how to make lichen dye. It's quite a process, but the color's amazing. So I saw it down here and I'm gonna snag it for the future. There's my few cuttings of baby or smaller, newer nettles, and I got a little bit of elderberry and a little bit of foxglove. This will now go home. I will put it out and let it sit out for a couple of hours so that if there are any insect friends here, they can crawl away and I won't worry about having them meet their fate in the dye pot. The other thing that I didn't do, and I think it was because really nettles are stinging and I was just trying to get them in the pot and going, I am going to try cutting them up. That is something that's kind of basic in natural dyeing, is that you cut up into smaller pieces to give yourself more surface area. I did not do that with these nettles. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut them up and put them on a really low heat and see what happens. Maybe the green of the greenest nettles are going to join us this time in the dye pot. Cross fingers. If I don't get green from nettle, does that really matter? Every plant is unique, every environment is unique. Where, when, how you forage for something can make a difference in the dye pot. You just don't know. So one thing to really remember is that there are so many variables, and I think that coming in with an expectation that I was going to absolutely get this glorious green from nettle was a mistake, in that I had an expectation and it didn't happen and I got frustrated. But what I didn't do is give up. I have to remind myself that the color that comes to me is really a gift, and it's a gift from nature. And I want to open myself up and accept what nature's willing to share with me. So if my nettles here want to provide me with a beautiful neutral brown, hey, that should be celebration enough. And I always want to be thankful and grateful for being able to experience such amazing beauty and wonder when I am out in nature, and be grateful for what it provides to me. So thank you, Mother Nature. Looking across the spectrum of all of the colors that I did get in the multiple attempts that I made, I did have a greenish hue to the first attempt I made. But because my expectations were for something completely different, I couldn't see that, and I certainly couldn't appreciate the beauty that was the nettles that are local to me. If you were watching with the Natural Dyer's Quick Start Guide, how many different things did I go back to on that particular list to try it out, test it out, see if I could get something different? At the end of the day, what I learned was that I needed to accept what nature was willing to share with me. And it was a pretty remarkable color palette. So thank you, stinging nettles of the Pacific Northwest. Perhaps one day I will find a nettle in another part of the world that brings me a green that is a little bit more in line with my original expectation. But until then, I'm going to enjoy the beautiful color that I got here today on Color Quest from Stinging Nettles. The stinging in the name is there for a reason. Since I found, while I was looking for nettles, some downed lichen, I thought that the next video here on Color Quest should be about lichen dye, and a very specific lichen dye at that. Lichen dye has a special place in my heart, and I will tell you more about that next week on Color Quest. Until then, have a great week, and don't forget, if you want the 11 tips that I use in my natural dye practice, go ahead and hit that link below in the description and download your free copy. Look forward to seeing you next time on Color Quest.